Hi, welcome to another edition of Legal Quilts. We've got some new video work. I'm trying to learn how to use the GoPro because my husband didn't like how it flipped, everything was flipped around, so he loaned me his GoPro. Today we're going to be learning to work with a really versatile block. It's going to be great, and today we're using one that uses pre-cuts. Nothing has to be cut, it's all done for you. Taking leftovers from a charm pack, which is a 5.5-inch block, as you can see, and leftovers from a mini charm pack, which is the 2.5-inch blocks. Now for this, you want the charm pack block, which can be patterned or anything you want, and then your 2.5-inch blocks need to contrast with that. You don't want them to blend in, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay? So the first thing you do is you take you've got your square, and then you lay your pieces, you lay your 2.5 inches on here, and you can do all 4 at once. So this goes together really fast. Okay? And then after you lay all 4 of these on, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler, and I'm using my yellow chalk, as you can see, so that you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to use my yellow chalk. And what you do with that is you, from corner to corner, and you want this to have your outside corners, as you see, sticking out here. And you draw a line here. Just draw all 4 lines going from corner to corner, okay? And you do line to line, line to line. Bum, 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 bum. Again, be very careful that it's your outside corners. You don't want to draw your line so that, well, it's kind of your inside ones, but you want it to be out here, because if you draw it the other way, this won't work. If you draw them from here to here, it's not right. So you want it to go so that your outside point here is sticking out. And what it looks like when you're done drawing your lines is you have this little diamond drawn on your block, okay? I'm trying not to move this too much right now. Okay, and then all you do is you sew on that line you just drew. Just using your usual thing, just sew on that line, straight down. And you keep, and you just sew on all 4 of them, straight around. So you're kind of sewing that diamond. And then all 4 of them. And then when you're done cutting all 4 of them, as you can see, you go. And then when you're done sewing all 4 of them, you cut right here at like 1/4 of an inch from your seam allowance. Don't cut your seam allowance like I just did. Whoops, I'm gonna have to redo that one. Oh dear, I just cut my seam allowance. But that's good enough for now. Okay, so you just cut that, and you cut your 4 corners. And that's why it's important that you make sure you get them the right way out, because what you're cutting off is the excess. You don't want to cut the wrong way, because then your shape won't work. And then when you open it all out, okay, you get, it looks like this. Okay, you get a block that looks like this, and I know that one's a little messed up. So it looks like this. I'm gonna press that down really quick. Excuse me while I step away. press that down. And the block looks like this when you're done. And so you get this nice design, and this is why you want something that contrasts, because when you add it to your other blocks, you get something that looks like this. You get an outside, you get your interior, your corner blocks pieces then form a secondary pattern. So you get all these diamonds going. So you want something that kind of works where you get this diamond here and then the diamond that's formed by bringing your blocks together. And this is a really versatile block. You can do it with, if you use, again, your charm pack of the 5-inch squares, but you use 2 inch instead of 2.5 inch, you get what's called a snowball. See, you've got more room up here, so it looks more like a snowball. And again, when you put these together, you're going to get the secondary pattern. If you use a rectangle, which this one is 3.5 by 6.5, and you use 2.5 inch pieces, or these might be 2 inches. It's the pattern by Quiltville called lozenges. You get lozenges. So this is the same technique of sewing on the corners and then cutting 3 different blocks. It's amazing. If you use all the same of a charm pack, like some nice pattern here, like this one, or I'm really tempted to do this one with maybe a very plain white in between. I'm not sure. This would create a pattern that stands out more than your background color of the larger squares. So this is a very, very versatile pattern. You can do so much with it. And so this is a good way to use up your pre-cuts. If you have extras floating around, you can make the squares with the pre-cuts, but they don't have 2 inch pre-cuts or 3.5 by 6.5 inch pre-cuts. That's why I kind of went with the one that was a pre-cut that just makes the diamonds without having to put your things on point. It's a square, so you just work straight across. So this is a really versatile, like I said, great way to use pre-cuts or your scraps if you want to cut them yourselves. It's a really fun pattern to work with, goes together quickly. It's portable. You can bring your pieces and hand sew them and then just cut them all when you get home. And it's just, and then it goes together and you get a really interesting pattern from a simple block. That's it for this time. Next week we will be back to doing the Irish chain quilt, where we're going to sew the top together, so don't miss that. I talked about pre-cuts previously, so you know what those are. I know I missed some. Please feel free to let me know which ones I missed, but if I do another one on pre-cuts, I'm going to have examples. So hello, fabric manufacturers, feel free to send me examples of pre-cuts. The other thing is I did it before the end of the year. I forgot to mention this last time. Before the end of the year, before the end of 2022, I did get everything on the website. So all my stuff is for sale is up on the website. So please check it out. Just scan the QR code that's got all my social media. Buy me a cup of coffee if you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment. I love to hear from people. And I usually respond. Sometimes I get a little busy. Don't worry, I read them all. Even if I don't respond, I read it. So until next time, enjoy.